Hello everyone, and welcome to the 15th episode of the Teaching of Isaac. We'll have a new character today. It's Apollyon. I have technically played him before on this series, but that was one of the episodes that unfortunately didn't make it, due to my recording software having an issue. Regardless, Apollyon, he's a fun character. Starts with only 2 hearts. That's alright though. But the best part about him is he starts with the Void. Kind of makes him into a mini Isaac because he has the ability to manipulate the treasure items. Now this might be an example here. He could drop the Bob's rotten head, and if he does, I can use the Void on it. This means every time I use the Void, it's also going to use Bob's rotten head. Now you really need to know your items when you use Apollyon because you could potentially get yourself in a bad situation. Let's say, for example, I use the Void on the IV bag. This means every time I use the Void, it's also going to stab myself. So you got to watch out. It's also helpful to know if the item is worth it to pick it up, or if you're better off consuming it for some stats. That's another thing. If you use the Void on a treasure item that it's only a passive, then it's going to give you a random assortment of stats. One of these on the left side will increase. Or it could be up to 2 actually. Apollyon becomes usually very strong late game, because as you're playing, you're continuing to absorb items, and you may have multiple activatable items to be used whenever you use the Void. So you could even have something like the Book of Revelations and the Satanic Bible both consumed by the Void. And then every time you use the Void, you get a Dark Heart and a Soul Heart. So it can be very powerful. Here's the Tinted Rock. I'm glad I found this pretty early, since the XL floor means that I'm going to have to fight 2 bosses, and if you get damaged during this floor, I'm going to lose my Devil Deal, unless, of course, I have a Soul Heart to protect it. Okay, so here's the first example, the Monster Manual. Not that great of an item. It gives you a little buddy. It's a random buddy. Now, not that great for the Void, because the Void is a 6 charge item, and this is a 3. So that means I'm not going to be able to use it as often as the Monster Manual. But it's better than nothing. By the way, you want to make sure you pick it up first before you consume that, because when you grab enough book items, you get the Bookworm transformation. Okay, this is probably the secret room based upon how this looks. It's most likely to the south. However, I don't have any bombs, so we're going to have to move on. Now for a room like this, definitely stick to the edges. And in case you didn't notice, I think they're called gapers maybe, but either way, the ones without the eyeballs in their skull, they run faster. What's bad is when one of those guys without eyeballs is, let's say for example, a yellow champion, which runs faster, things get pretty dicey quickly. By the way, whenever you run into a new treasure item, don't be afraid to look it up. Just type in a description. Like for this, you could say white. Well, if you say white ball of yarn, maybe you won't get this one. But either way, type it in, look it up. You can also look online, and there's a lot of pictures, and you can figure out which one it is before you pick it up. This is Daddy Longlegs. It's an amazing item. You wouldn't want to consume that with the Void, because you're better off with a foot crushing your foes as opposed to getting some random assortment of stats. Alright, I'm here. So Gemini, I could just run around the whole time and let Daddy Longlegs take care of him. The earlier the game, the more powerful Daddy Longlegs is, so he's a really good way to get a lot of momentum. Speaking of momentum, take your time when fighting this guy. If you start shooting him really quickly and really often, he's going to fly around the room erratically. So make sure you keep running, but just shoot him slowly. Or shoot him as long as you have control. I know this is a stat up, and I need some tears, so heck yeah, I want it. And by the time I go to the next boss, my void will be ready. That way I can consume the next item if I'm not happy with it. Take out these little enemies first, and then take care of Monstro. It does also depend on what enemy it is. There's some enemies that'll run away from you during the Monstro fight. You might be better off ignoring them until you take out Monstro. But for an enemy like that, they just chase after you right away, so it's best to take them out. Another tears up, don't mind if I do. This is a really, really strong start. My tears are already maxed. 5 is the fastest your tears can go unless you have an item that reduces your tear delay. There's not very many items that do that, however. I don't really have a reason to grab We Need to Go Deeper. I don't really intend on trying to speed run through this anyway, so I'm just going to grab these items and I'm going to get out. Alright, before I go, I got 2 more rooms I can explore here. Maybe 2. Could be more. This trinket will probably be totally useless. Once your activatable item has no charges at all, then you gain some bonus stats. This is more beneficial if you have an item that has no charges. Then again, I'm trying to remember if you have an item with no charges, if that counts as max charges or 0 charges. I'm not 100% sure about that. But regardless, I know in my case, this dim light bulb is not going to be helpful. That's right, I almost forgot. I mentioned earlier that I think I know where the secret room is. So let's test that out. It's a bit harder trying to find the secret room on an XL floor, however. Since it's the size of 2 floors, but you only get 1 secret room and 1 super secret room. And looks like I was wrong. I only have 1 bomb. I'm not completely sure where it is. It could be to the south here, but I'm just going to cut my losses. And now that I've skipped the devil deal, now I have a chance to gain an angel room. Now, one thing I like about having an XL on the first floor, the labyrinth, is the next level you have an even higher chance than you normally would trying to get a devil deal or an angel room. So 67%. If I had started on the second level instead of an XL floor and reached the third level, this would probably be like at a 36%. So that's at least one thing that's good about getting an XL floor on the first level. Also, it means that both treasure rooms will require no keys to open them. So the arenas, they're a little predictable, because if you happen to remember what enemies are coming up, well, it's not going to be random, so you can memorize them technically. But either way, just stay away from this spot and stay away from this spot when they spawn in. As long as you're not in those areas, you're usually going to be okay, because that's the primary spot where they spawn. By the way, I'm not going to use pills till the end of the level. That's the best option due to some pills like Amnesia or the triple question mark, which gives you Curse of the Maze. Now, the triple question mark, I'm referring to, there's actually a pill that's called that. Question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm not talking about this technically, because question mark, question mark, question mark usually represents a pill that you don't know what it does. Some of them are actually named question mark, though, just to make things even trickier. So even if you use the pill, normally it reveals the true name of it, but question mark, question mark, question mark is the true name of one of the pills. So you could forget about it and use it again by accident, and then say hello to Curse of the Maze again. So these guys only spawn in the pits. They also explode upon death. Stay far back as possible. I could just let Daddy Longlegs take care of them. Oh. So much for that. A lot of pills. This will be interesting. Now you may notice I haven't used my Void yet. Sure, I've consumed the monster manual and I could use it right now, but it's a 6 charge. The Void is 6 charges. It'll be a while before I can use it again. I'd rather save it in case I have some treasure items, especially since the monster manual, it's not that helpful. I'm guessing this is where the secret room is, but I'm going to explore a little more just to confirm it. These guys are really nasty and they shoot erratically. It's really hard to dodge them. You just have to try your best and keep moving. One option that usually works is to run past them, but in a room like this, you really can't. So this diaper, when you get damaged enough, I believe it drops an HP up, but you have to be damaged so much for it to happen that I don't even remember the last time I've actually triggered it. So I'm taking the petrified poop instead, meaning when I destroy a poop, there's a high chance I'll get a coin or a heart out of it. Okay, I know to stay in the middle. These guys are stuck to being in these pits. They won't be able to move around that much. Now let's use this wall for cover and watch Daddy Longlegs go to work. It's kind of like Gallagher hitting a watermelon, and I got a nice shield here. So these portals, you have to unlock them. If you are playing The Binding of Isaac and never see them, it's probably because you haven't unlocked them. I don't remember the criteria, but it is something that is eventually unlocked. I kind of want to go in the shop, but I'm kind of poor right now. I'm going to wait a little bit, see if I get a key. Okay, and I'm pretty sure this is it. This is the secret room. I mentioned earlier that I wanted to explore a little bit more to confirm it. This pretty much looks like it, because we can't go... We know it's not north because there's a big pit there, and there's a nice clean wall here. This is the only wall that actually can be potentially destroyed, because there's obviously a door on both sides. So, I'm going to do it. A little disappointing. When you see a button in a room like this, I would say you have two-thirds of the time, you're going to find monsters when you hit them. So do not hit both buttons at the same time. Don't run over both of them within one cycle. Just do one, destroy what comes out, or take what comes out, and then once you're ready, do the second one. You don't want to fight two groups of monsters. Alright. That's cool. I'll take it. Now I know those guys are going to pop up near me. This is kind of dangerous. Now Daddy Longlegs can also screw you sometimes. Maybe there's a monster that's chasing you that explodes. You could be running from it and then suddenly Daddy Longlegs comes and crushes it. Despite that risk, Daddy Longlegs is definitely worth it. If you happen to be playing the Keeper or the Lost, you could also, if you're really lucky, find the Gnawed Leaf, which makes you immortal if you hold still. So you can hold still. Daddy Longlegs will go to town and clear things for you. You could even kill bosses, excuse me, you can even kill bosses like Hush, for example, just with Daddy Longlegs. So this is the farting baby. He's like the dry baby, just a lamer version. But nonetheless, still helpful. It'll block shots, and you can use that against things like Mom's Heart or It Lives as a shield. Or Mega Satan, and you could just kind of keep him up there while shooting north to Mega Satan, and it'll block the shots. When he gets hit, it also causes a little bit of a farting sensation, but they have to be in proximity range in order for that to occur. Or at least in order for it to hit him. I got a little lucky there. I was trying to strategically wait to kill them so that way they wouldn't blow up in my face. And Daddy Longlegs was actually waiting for me, it seemed like. He won't always wait. He gets kind of antsy. So I wasn't even thinking I could have used the Void on the farting baby, but I mean it makes it helpful for several bosses. So I guess it's not too bad, but I totally forgot about the void regardless. Okay, let's go ahead and take care of the boss. We've explored everything minus the super secret room. Gertie's a perfect example as to why the farting baby's good. So I can just put it like this, and I'm completely protected. Welcome to easy mode. And I'm even in proximity range, and now it just farted on him. Or her. I always missexualize Gertie, which I know is a female because of Mama Gertie. Disappointing. 67% chance of an angel room or a devil room, and wasn't meant to be. Now, the magic 8 ball gives you shot speed. Not a very helpful stat, especially since this is what my boss item is. So I'm going to consume it. Look at that. 1 damage, little range. Range is alright. Not the most important stat unless your range is tiny. But either way, I got 1 damage. That's huge. So that worked out perfectly. By the way, the magic 8 ball also gives you a card. But as you can see, I've been hoarding the strength card. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it yet. What I like to use the strength card with is to steal a devil deal. However, as you can see, I haven't been very lucky on the devil deals. And I already have, I'm going to have 4 hearts by the end of this. By the way, I'm skipping the Eternal Heart for the moment because I want to see what these pills give me first. Addicted is a 1-room affliction. It makes it so that you get hit for double damage when you get hit while you're addicted. So just walk out of the room and you'll be fine. But addicted is one of the reasons why you don't want to use a pill when you are in combat. Retrovision, the pill that everyone hates, just inconveniences you by making it hard to see every so often. Relax, it poops a bit, but that'll help me actually because of the petrified poop. Balls of Steel gives you some soul hearts. And Are You a Wizard inconveniences you for a set duration of time. Yeah, you see, so it splits the tears in half. It's not like they're shooting both directions simultaneously. So that essentially cuts your tear speed in half until it goes away. And plus it makes it hard to aim with it. So nobody likes it. But by the time I grab the Eternal Heart and exit the room, I'm sure Are You a Wizard will be gone by then. Now I have no more bombs. I can't grab the super secret room. So I'm going to press onward. Still tempted to go in there. I like to spin keys to go in the shop and buy soul hearts. But as you can see, I have plenty of life. Yep, Are You a Wizard is gone. So you don't have to be as risky as I was being this close to the enemy. You'd probably be better off over here. There's a little more space to move around. But I could have also planted the dry baby exactly in front of me and protected myself. By the way, you can actually get this chest. If you place a bomb to the right of this rock, it'll fill this gap and form a bridge, and you can just walk over and grab the chest. But I have no bombs right now. Even if I had a bomb, I'm not sure I would do that. Because sometimes bombs are a luxury. But I generally use them strategically versus offensively, unless I'm in a bad situation, or if I know that the assortment of monsters in the room is ridiculously hard, then I'll throw a bomb down. So I kind of want this. I think it's called Blind Rage, and it makes your invincibility frames last longer. That means that you can stab yourself an extra time when you use the blood donation machine. In fact, there's the arcade. That could have a blood donation machine. And it'd be a great time for me to use the Blind Rage. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explore one more room, so that way my void is fully charged. And then I'm going to use that pickaxe to destroy some rocks. That'll save myself... Well, I don't even have a bomb, so it'll save myself a bomb, but I don't even have any. These red guys, make sure you're not in line of sight with them. Just keep moving. If you stay in line of sight with them, the creep's going to hit you. Now I'm going to save this battery because I'm probably going to end up consuming the pickaxe. Alright, let's do this. Now you may be tempted to run through the mushrooms, but they're going to blow up most likely and ruin your day. So don't do it. I will, however, destroy the path to these mushrooms in case I get excess bombs and I can blow everything up. Now before I drop the notched axe, I'm going to walk against the wall. So there's a possibility that there might be a secret room. There we go. Cool. Now since my void is fully charged and I don't intend on using it in combat, well, before I do anything, let's utilize the Blind Rage and take a look at this card. What do we got? Another strength card. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to stab myself once and again. So you see that? I lost a half heart and I stabbed myself to the blood donation machine twice. By the way, one of these is a lucky penny. It's the one that's green because it's shimmering. Well, shimmering green rather. That's how you tell if it's a lucky penny or not. I have a big soul heart cushion, so I intend on milking this machine till it blows up, which is right now. Now, one thing that I could have done differently is instead of utilizing the extra stabs, I could have stabbed myself to one heart, and therefore I would have been able to go into the boss room here, the boss arena. But the odds that it was going to blow up early were pretty low, and you don't know what's going to happen anyway. So I figured I'd just play it out and see what happens. The blood bag, a lot of people think it only increases your hit points, but it actually increases your speed as well. So it's a very helpful item, especially when you accumulate multiples. Just because those mushrooms are hiding and defending themselves, just keep attacking them anyway. Even though it's going to take a little bit longer, they'll die. Plus, they eventually pop their heads out. But you have to react because they're going to attack diagonally or straight at you. Okay, I finally have some money. So let's see what we get. So this is the stopwatch. I believe you get it if you donate 999 coins to the donation machine. What I don't like about it, which is kind of funny, it's too powerful in my opinion. Way too powerful. I mean, it's a little bit different if you have a super powerful item that's in the angel room perhaps, or the devil room, and it's really rare, but the stopwatch really isn't that rare. When you get hit, it slows the room to crazy speeds, crazy slow speeds, and it also gives you a speed up immediately. It's so powerful, it trivializes every game I play. It makes it boring, in my opinion. If you're starting out, you're trying to unlock things, absolutely, grab it, exploit it for all it's worth, utilize it, destroy the bosses, laugh in their faces. But when you reach the point where I'm at, I'd rather just skip it. It's going to make this video pretty boring too. So I'm going to pretend it's not even there. Although I will, at the very least, re-roll what's going on here with this machine. Remember what I said about its rarity? Yeah, it's back. The pills aren't very impressive, so I'm going to take the starter deck. Now I can hold 2 cards. Runes count as cards, by the way. And the black rune is great because, well, it's a little bit different than the void. There's 2 things it does differently. One, when you use the black rune, all pickups will be consumed and turn into blue flies. But the second thing is you can use the black rune to consume an activatable item, and instead of it being part of you, it consumes the activatable item for stats. You normally can't do that with the void, but with black rune you can. That way, if there's an activatable item you hate and you don't want to make it part of the void, but you don't want to just waste the item, you can use the black rune on it. That's when I wait before using it for. Now this room is horrible. It's one of my least favorite rooms in the caves. Unfortunately, it's not that uncommon. You just pretty much gotta take the hit. I would say drop a bomb earlier than I did. It's just a nasty room. If you have flight though, you can fly over here and kind of give yourself some cover, especially if you have spectral tears. But either way, you just gotta deal with that nasty room. There's no two ways about it. I'm debating if I should open this, and I've decided I'm going to. I'll have one key left over for the next level. Okay, not bad. Normally if I was a different character it'd be more useful, but either way what this does is it re-rolls all the items on the floor. And by items I'm referring to things like treasure items. That also includes even a devil deal technically. If I'm able to get back in the devil room after re-rolling it, it'll actually re-roll the devil room too. That room's really nasty as well. That's another room that you need to learn to dodge. The best option is just to move either to the left or the right and then down just a little bit. You don't want to go to the halfway point exactly, but either way you want to, there's like a really small sweet spot where you can dodge. Only way to really get better at it is to practice. You just keep playing over and over again, and eventually you start seeing repeats in the rooms. You get familiar with them and you'll know what to do ahead of time. Now, where is the super secret room is the question. It's usually near the end. This is not the end. In fact, I know the super secret room can't be here because every single side is blocked. For those of you that don't know, the super secret room is usually towards the end, and it has to be attached to only one room. If there's another room that could potentially be attached to it, then it absolutely cannot be a super secret room. I'm really tempted just to plow through all these mushrooms. I gotta say, it's really tempting. What the hell? Let's do it. I'm gonna hurt. I'm gonna get hurt. I already know I'm gonna get hurt, but I'm doing it anyway. Oh, it just canceled my notched axe. That was really disappointing. I thought I could just plow through there and hold my axe in the air while I'm getting damaged, but it just interrupted it. Now, a room like this, Daddy Longlegs is probably going to screw me. Yeah. I saw that one coming a mile away. The Liberty Cap gives you a random effect in each room, a random mushroom effect. Right now, it's the thin mushroom, or the odd mushroom, the thin variant. And normally what that does is it makes your tiers to 5, but lowers your damage. Now, my tiers are already 5, so all this literally did was hinder me. So I don't really want it right now. Normally I do if I have a slower tier rate, but I don't want it now. Now if this is the tick, then you're going to have a bad time, because when you grab the tick, you can't, well, you could walk past this, but let's pretend it's more in the center and there's no way to pass it. So to bypass it, you grab your items. Let me just show you an example. I got the black rune in the way, so it'll make things more tricky, but let me show you. You saw that? I bumped into the petrified poop while I was picking up the Liberty Cap. So pretend that's the tick, and it lets you bypass the tick without having to pick it up. So instead of being forced to do that, you can just drop your item and do it. That's also a way to avoid a mimic that's in the middle. While you're lifting up the item in the air animation, it won't open the mimic chest or pick up the tick. This is probably it. That's it, yep. Sweet, I got another donation machine. So I'm going to milk this. I'm going back for the black rune. Or not the black rune. Let me try it again. For the blind rage. Blind rage, black rune's the same acronym. Okay, so I'm going to pick this up just so I can remove it from the item pool. That way it'll never show up again. I'm also going to capitalize on it. And I'm also going to spend my money on this guy. I need to think carefully when I see these items coming up because I could re-roll it with the dice room that you saw earlier. Now this is terrible. If I consume this with the void, all it would do is make me fart, and I can't use it again until I have another 6 rooms because the void can only be used when you've charged up 6 times. So that's useless. I could also use the black rune, which is what I would normally do. However, I do have that dice room, so I'm going to capitalize on it. But before I do that, let me grab the void. I don't want to accidentally reroll the void and ruin everything. That's right, it's not in the shop. I left it in the treasure room. Before I go, though, I'm going to grab the remainder of the hearts and stab myself and get maximum money here. I have enough of a soul heart cushion that I'm not worried about it. And also, by doing this, I'm going to have access to the boss room. I wanted to grab that heart, but it's going to have to wait. Because if I grab that heart, it's going to use the re-rolling machine early. I also want to show you a pretty cool trick that you can do with the IV bag. Now, before entering a cursed room, it's a good idea to drop your items. At least your, not your trinket, you can hold on to your trinket, but drop your items. Because cursed rooms, sometimes they have runes or cards. Sometimes even pills, because of the red chests. So you want to make sure that's open, that way you can bring it outside without having to walk through the cursed room multiple times. So you stab yourself, you run through. Now instead of losing a soul heart, during that animation when I stabbed myself, I was able to lose half a regular heart instead. Well, that was mostly useless, but because of the fact that I have the IV bag, I actually gained a profit there. So I can stab myself, run through. Those 2 coins could be left behind, that's alright. And then lastly, going to finish this off and trade out my IV bag for the void. Now before using the re-rolling machine, I want to see if there's a treasure item in the boss room. There could be. If I could grab one of the red chests and it could be something like Guppy's head or like the cursed eye or something, and I could re-roll that potentially. It is also going to re-roll the items in the shop, which is great because the stopwatch is there, and I already told you about my hate for that item. Although I guess I shouldn't say hate. It's helped me unlock many things. It's helped me defeat Delirium with the Lost before. So, I mean, I guess I can't hate the item. It's just that I'm over that item. I've moved on. Okay, let's see if I get something good. Now, I'm concerned, though, because when you reach the caves area and you go in the boss arena, there's a chance, I say this every time, you can get the champion Mega Ma, the champion Mega Fatty, and they hurt for a full heart of damage. It's brutal. Whenever you perform something that has risk, you have to think about the worst case scenario. If you're able and capable of surviving the worst case scenario, then I'd say go for it. But if you know that the worst case scenario would ruin everything and make you lose your run, avoid it. By the way, with the haunts, I kind of did that a little bit quickly. In fact, the Daddy Longlegs is going to murder him before I have a chance to explain everything. But either way, every 3 seconds, you're no longer safe. He's going to do an attack a minimum of every 3 seconds. So after 3 seconds, you just count 1, 2, 3, and then you wait. I mean, you run away. You want to stay out of line of sight after you count 3 seconds. If I encounter him on an earlier section, I will go in more detail. But either way, stay back. Every 3 seconds, you're vulnerable. Don't stay in line of sight once you've counted 3 seconds until he does his attack. Also, don't try to be a hero and dodge in between the bullets. You want to make sure you're all the way to the left or all the way to the right when he shoots the bullets out. Okay, we got some more hearts here. May as well. I can get myself even more money. Also a Wheel of Fortune. Sure, why not? I'll pop it. We'll see if I use it or not. Put them right next to each other. That way, if I decide to gamble, I can just use both of them really quickly. Okay, and finally, that's right, I got the Void. There's the IV bag. Now, before I re-roll everything, though, what I'm going to do, well, I'm going to stab myself some more. Why not? I'm trying to capitalize on this dice roll as much as possible. So I'm going to pick up the Void, and I'm going to go fight the boss. That way, if the boss item is bad, I can also re-roll that. The Stain. He's the bullet hell boss, so careful of Stain to the left and right side because he'll shoot his tentacles at you and drop some red creep on the floor. During this phase, normally you dodge up and down from here or left and right if you're north or south, but I got this farting baby here, so he'll protect me. He pretty much trivialized that fight, and then I got hit at the very end. But anyway, I've opened up the Angel Room. Little Steven's pretty good. He's a good familiar just because he has homing tears. I'm not a fan of familiars normally, but Little Steven, he's pretty helpful. But I'll think about re-rolling him or not. But let's go in the Angel Room. Sweet Mother of Pearl. Can I take everything, please? By the way, speaking of which, technically I could. If I use the Blank Rune or the Void, I could consume all 3 of these items simultaneously and get a bunch of stats. But I'd be insane to do that because of the Sacred Heart and the Wafer. The Wafer, when you get damaged, even if it costs a full heart, it's only going to deal half. The Sacred Heart gives you an HP up, gives you homing tears, it slows down your tears a little bit, but it also raises your damage astronomically. I love the Wafer, but it's so hard to pass up the Sacred Heart. I'm going to have to take it. It does also give you a slight tears down, but it's so worth it. So I'm going to take out the Angel while I'm at it. You have to unlock the ability to do this as well, but he holds the key, or a part of the key rather, which will allow me to go to Mega Satan. When he crosses his arms, there's a chance to shoot you with bullets or summon someone, or he might shoot his laser beams diagonally. So assume that he's going to do a diagonal zap attack whenever you see him cross his arms. Alright, this is great. By the way, I could also use the Black Rune if I really wanted to on the key and get stats from it, but I want to fight Mega Satan. Alright, fine, I'll take you. By the way, Little Steven contributes towards the Conjoined transformation. There are 3 familiars that you can get that will transform you into the Conjoined. Not every familiar does it. You have to look it up because there's no real pattern to it. But either way, you get 3 specific familiars and you get the Conjoined transformation, and that allows you to shoot in all 3, or shoots you in 3 directions when you're attacking. It also gives you a slight speeds down, but it's usually worth it, or tears down rather. Well, because of the Sacred Heart, I think that healed me to full. So guess what? I'm going to stab myself some more. I know it's a little time consuming, but I'm just pretty much showing you all examples of being able to beef yourself up, make yourself really powerful. That way, regardless of your skill level, if you get your character strong enough, you can still win. So yes, it's a little bit of overkill, but either way, this is how I play the Binding of Isaac. I milk it for all it's worth for the most part. Okay, so now it's time to re-roll all the items and see if I get anything good. I got some great options. I got the Void and the Black Rune, so I can consume multiple items, and there's a battery, so I'm going to have a pretty good time here. Now, the Rosary gives you 3 Soul Hearts, and it makes the Bible appear in every single item pool. So the Bible's going to definitely show up and prevent another item from spawning. So I'm not a fan of the Rosary if I'm already doing really well. So I'm going to consume it for some stats. Got my tears back. I'm now maxed on tears, so that's fantastic. Grab the battery. Don't want the Liberty Cap. I think I'll take this. Juicy Sack gives you a little creep spread that slows your enemies, and it spawns spires every so often. Now at this point, when I start consuming items using the Void or the Black Rune, one of the stats it can increase is my tears. It can make my tears shoot faster. But 5's the cap, so if that happens, it's going to be a total waste. It's just going to eliminate the item, but not give me the stats since I'm capped. So now I have to be a little more careful on deciding whether to consume the item or keep it. So the finger is still helpful. It points at your foe, and if you think about it, it's actually like an invisible laser beam that shoots from the finger and damages your foe slowly. It's alright, but I feel like if I try to consume it with the Void, I might not get lucky. So it's good enough that I'll just hold on to it. Now this is great, so I'm going to use the smelter to... Oh, it starts without a battery. Okay, that's interesting. Well, I don't have to deal with this. I could just buy that battery that's right there, but there's another one on the field. May as well go ahead and pick that up. Save myself 5 cents. So the smelter will consume your trinket and give it to you. So I use it right now. Say goodbye to Blind Rage. Blind Rage is now part of me. Now I can use it at least one more time, and the way I could do that is I'll pick up the Petrified Poop, which is another trinket I don't mind having. And then I'm going to consume this. Well, before I consume that, I mentioned earlier that there's 2 slot machines, and I want to go ahead and use that because I want to get Pretty Fly, something you can get from slot machines. And I got 2 slot machines here, so it's going to be a bit faster. Well, that was pretty disappointing. I pretty much just wasted my money. So now, as I was saying about the Void, when you consume your activatable item, it's going to use it at that exact time that it consumes it. So therefore, it's actually going to use the smelter and consume the Petrified Poop. Sounds disgusting, but regardless. There, the Petrified Poop is now consumed, so it's used the smelter effect again, and anytime I use the Void from now on, it's going to consume whatever trinkets I'm holding. Now, I don't want to consume the Liberty Cap, because like I said, sometimes it gives you the Thin Mushroom ability, which makes your tears a 5, but makes you deal less damage. My tears are capped, so I don't want to grab that. Okay, it's time to move on. I I think I've overstayed my welcome on this level. Not a fan of labyrinth levels. Means I get one less devil deal / angel room chance, one less shop, and I can almost guarantee greed is going to be waiting for me in the shop because I haven't ran into him yet. That trap's pretty nasty, so I was just going to wait for Daddy Longlegs and my blue spires to take him out. So I immediately forgot what that card was. The Empress. Okay, that'll make me a little bit stronger for a boss, but right now I'm pretty beefy. Now the White Champion's immortal until you destroy all his buddies. That can be difficult sometimes because there's some enemies that will spawn enemies, and therefore it becomes really difficult to deal with them. And I'm leaving the Eternal Heart for last, because I want to make sure I can use a blood donation machine and not lose my Eternal Heart. So when you use a blood donation machine and you have an Eternal Heart, it's going to prioritize the Eternal Heart over the Red Heart. Okay, I could go for the boss right now, but, well, it's an XL level. I can at least fight the first boss without being stuck in the mom fight. Sisters Vis, they're pretty easy in my opinion. Don't stand in between them, otherwise you'll get a brimstone to the face. You kill one, the other one gets angry, but guess what? You're dead. Now look at this, I have so much health. Do I really want to pick this up? Or do I want to gamble and go for a stat boost? That's what I'm going for. I want a little more speed. Okay, that was just dumb luck. I didn't know it was going to give me speed. That's just what I was hoping for. But that's why I did it. Now I got to speed up a little bit faster. I'll dodge some more attacks. I'll save the 2 of spades for the end. That way I'll be able to maximize on my keys. So that doubles the keys that you're currently holding. So it's best to use the 2 of spades after the end of the level. But make sure you don't go crazy and start opening all kinds of locked doors and then suddenly you use the 2 of spades at the end and you've kind of wasted your potential for getting more keys. So yeah, there's a secret room right there. I'm not going to open it quite yet. I want to make sure that I at least find both treasure rooms and then use it before I open them for maximum keys. You hear that laugh? Start moving around. Don't let the hands crush you. Same thing here. There's not much room to navigate, unfortunately. This is where having a high speed really helps, especially when these traps are shooting everywhere. It would have been a bad idea if I ran in the middle trying to be a hero and dodge like crazy. It's a little amount of space, but just relax and keep moving. Now I got 1 charge. You may be tempted just to grab the battery really fast, but don't do it. Just go to the next room, clear it out. It'll be fully charged. That way you can maximize the use of the battery. Now I could just open these and go grab the 2 keys, and when you open these locks you have a chance of getting a coin. But who knows, maybe I'll get flight during this level, and if that happens I could save myself from going through these key doors. For this room, you have to stay in line of sight in order for the host to open up. So it makes it a little bit difficult. Thank you, farting baby. Oh, I just broke my own rule. I said don't use the, don't open the doors until afterwards, but I was kind of excited to see the shop. I didn't expect it. Okay, so this is beautiful. I can consume the blank card, and therefore I'll be able to use... Well, a blank card, it lets you use your card without actually consuming it. So I'm going to use it once.
Of spades.
And then I'm going to consume this and use it again. Now I still got my 2 of spades. And now that means I can use these cards as much as I want as long as I have the charges for it. Now Diplopia, pretty helpful. Now it's not compatible with the Void. You can't just consume it in the double items for all eternity. It doesn't work that way. Some of the items have a rule change to where they think it draws the line and won't let you exploit it. What I could do though is use the Diplopia to double an item and then consume both of them. Okay, I'm looking for one more treasure room, and then I will move on. Now you may notice that the bombs have like a wind-up animation to them. It's because they're homing bombs now. They're homing bombs because I picked up the Sacred Heart earlier, which gives homing tears. It's also applicable to bombs. Alright, treasure room, where are you? Okay, perfect. Let's see what we get. Now that I have the blank card consumed, I'm not really concerned about using the 2 of spades beforehand. I may as well have infinite keys now. Okay, so we got a couple options. Sissy Longlegs, pretty good, drops spiders around. And the Kidney Stone, I think it's Matt's Kidney Stone, I'm not sure what that is about. Maybe someone from Nicholas, the company, had kidney stones and it's a running gag. Regardless, I don't like the Kidney Stone because it lowers your speed a lot. It lets you shoot a lot of tears randomly, but the speed down is pretty painful. Now, I have Daddy Longlegs. I also have the Juicy Sack. I think I might get a very rare transformation if I grab this spider item. Now, if it wasn't for that, I would just consume this with the Void, because you can usually only grab one treasure room item, and then both will vanish if you grab one. However, well, actually I have a great idea. This gives me a great idea. Well, I'm poor right now. I wanted to go and use Diplopia and create 4 items, grab 1, and then consume the remaining 3. But that's alright. Let's just grab... Since I'm poor, I'm just going to grab Sissy Longlegs. And I could go explore the rest of the level and grab money. Probably get enough, but I'm just going to move on. And let's see if I transform. I did not. Okay. Okay, and this is one of the very rare treasure rooms that you can actually grab both items. Usually it just gives you a choice, but occasionally you can grab both. I still don't want this. I don't want to lose so much speed. Although, I could take it just for demonstrative purposes. Plus, as I'm consuming more things with the Void, I might get my speed back anyway. So sure, why not? I'll grab it just so everyone can see how it works. Alright, so I lose speed. I lost a bunch of range as well. I didn't expect that. But every so often, as you're attacking, you won't be able to attack anymore until you hold your attack long enough to shoot the Kidney Stone out, along with a bunch of tears. So why am I here? I have no reason to be here. Okay, you see, now I can't shoot anymore, and I'm looking like I'm having a bad time. So you let go, and then it shoots a lot of tears rapidly. It also shoots the Kidney Stone out really fast. I don't know if you saw that or not. Now I got so many keys now, I'm just going to open these up. You could get coins when you open them if you're lucky, but only like 1 coin, so it's not really worth it. But for me, I essentially have infinite keys at this point. And well, I'm going to grab this battery. And I'm going to grab the Eternal Heart. Let's see what we get. So the way this item works is, as long as you attack in a single direction without changing, you're going to start getting tears up slowly over time. Problem is, I like moving around, I like aiming, and I don't like having to hold one direction just for a bonus of extra tears. Plus I have to let go because of Matt's kidney stone. So I'm just going to consume this. Now I want to make sure I have the 2 of spades selected before I consume it. That way my blank card will give me extra keys. Boom. Got a shot speed up. Would I have rather taken that item? Absolutely, but you win some, you lose some. Now, because I don't think I'm going to need more than 99 coins, or rather 99 keys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the battery. I'm going to pop the 2 of spades. Got 99 keys now. And I'm going to grab the Empress. Now I could use the Empress to make myself stronger for the boss fight by using the blank card and not consuming it, but I want to save the void in case there's a item I want to consume with it. You can't go back once you fought Mom. You have to commit, and even after the fight, the door does not open to leave. If you have an item like the Fool, or card like the Fool, you can teleport out. But I don't need to worry about that. So no devil room for me. Now I could use the blank rune, or the black rune rather, and the void and consume these 2. Don't do it unless you don't want to go to the last level. I do. And I'm going to take the Polaroid since I plan on fighting Mega Satan. That's assuming I can get the next key piece. I might not if I'm not lucky. I'm feeling lucky. Yep, cool. Ooh, what do we have here? Okay. Ooh, the Joker, perfect. Oh, look, 2 of spades. I can get some more keys. That'll help me a lot with my 99. 99 is the cap for the record. So, Arrow Walk. Let me just show you. It's a portable stopwatch. My speed increased. Everyone's super slow. I could combine that with the Void, and every time I use it, which uses the blank card, it'll use that as well. But you remember how I feel about the stopwatch effect. Now, thanks to the blank card, I can use this without consuming the Joker. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, now I could take this, but like I said, I'm trying to get the Mega Satan. If I take one of these items, I'm never going to get an Angel Room ever again, with few exceptions to that rule. Regardless, I'm going to pass because I want to go fight Mega Satan if I can. I am going to hold on to the Joker, that way I can get a Devil Deal next level as well. What I like about the Joker is I can use it when I'm at the Cathedral, or Shale, or the Chest, or the Dark Room. And, because normally when you're past the Womb, you can no longer get Devil Deals, unless you could teleport to the Devil Room. Or in my case, it could be an Angel Room. Now, another reason why I'm not a big fan of the Kidney Stone is sometimes I want to attack, but guess what? I can't because I need to eject the Kidney Stone. So sometimes you leave yourself vulnerable to attack. Now we're talking. I can capitalize on my keys. Ah. I didn't even see it. Okay, I'm gonna reset the poops. Let them all be together, because they're alternating and ruining my day. Ah, I looked away for a second. All right, well, I finally got an item. This will give you coins every few rooms, The hermit normally teleports you to the shop, but there are no shops when you reach the womb and beyond. There is a trinket that can make the shop still spawn beyond the depths, though. But good luck getting that. There's so many trinkets in this game. There's a tinted rock there. It's good because I was starting to run out of soul hearts finally. Those pits suck you in, so you just gotta roll with it. Okay, now I'm not sure what order things are going to happen in, but either way, I want to make sure I have the black rune selected and not the Joker, because when I pop my Void ability, there's a possibility that it might teleport me before it consumes the item. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this. Oh well, luck's better than money at this point. Money's not very helpful beyond the womb, unless you happen to find something like a slot machine. You saw that I was trying to attack, and I was just a sitting duck. I had to rely on my friends to attack, because I had the kidney stone blocking me from attacking. Because in order to release the kidney stone, you have to attack for, well, you have to hold your attack button for a few seconds while you're just standing there like a doofus. This is the Rib of Greed. Prevents greed from spawning. Now there's no more shops, so I don't really care if I see greed. But what you can do with the Rib of Greed is you can drop it on the floor, find Greed, attack him and kill him, and then come back to his room while holding the Rib of Greed. And then instead of Greed's corpse being there or whatever, it's going to be a different room when you walk in where Greed was. So it's kind of a way to get two secret rooms or two shops that way. I don't mind Greed. I don't want to consume the Rib of Greed because I won't be able to drop it. So I intend on just leaving it on the floor. This is what I'm looking for. This increases your chance of an angel room. Remember, I'm trying to get an angel room so that way I can fight Mega Satan. So that's perfect. And I'll be consuming it next time I use the Void. Now, even though my angel room chance has increased, I've already walked to the devil room. I can't change that into an angel room after the fact. Now, I've noticed a lot of what's been going on in this specific episode here. I haven't been talking so much about combat strategy. It's been mostly about items and things like that. The best option for being better at fighting monsters in the Binding of Isaac, you may have heard the phrase, get good. Pretty much means keep playing, keep practicing. Of course, I'll give you advice here and there when it comes to certain rooms and certain enemies, but for the most part, it's all about playing, getting used to their patterns, knowing what to expect, and the more you play, the faster you can react, the better you get. That's pretty much what it's about. So I think that's probably the reason why I kind of emphasize a little more on talking about some of the lesser known strategies as opposed to learning how to fight good. Now, these items here, Ace of Clubs makes coins or any pickups into bombs. The Wheel of Fortune, we already know what that does.
Wheel of Fortune.
I'm just going to see what we got for the boss. And normally this boss is really hard. Normally. Today is not a normal day. Now, I already know it's in the devil room. I was already there earlier. I don't want to grab a devil item anyway. Now this, it just gives you some bombs, and I believe, yeah, it just gives you some bombs. So forget it, I want to consume it. More shot speed, whatever. Better than nothing. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and spend the rest of my money on this in hopes of one more soul heart. Potentially, I could get some more trinkets to consume as well. On the very last gamble, I got the crystal ball, which is great. It's a great item because it gives you soul hearts very often. It also reveals the entire map, assuming it's not already revealed. Could also drop a card when you use it. Now what's really great about this is the fact that I can use the void and consume it. Or at least I could if I had a battery. I kind of dropped the ball on that one. What a shame. Could also use the black rune and consume it, but then it would go away forever. Then again, I don't really need to use the black rune like with the card that I have, the blank card, because my void does the same ability pretty much. So I'll say goodbye to this. Before I do that, the black, oh, it's perfect. The Hierophant. Anytime I use my Void now, which uses the blank card, it'll drop 2 soul hearts for me, so that'll be good protection. Now before I use it though, biggest difference between the black rune and using the Void is it makes everything on the floor turn into blue flies. So I want to make sure I get my good stuff out of the way before I use it. Luck up. So even though I didn't get to keep the crystal ball, the Hierophant's going to give me 2 soul hearts whenever I want, pretty much. So I'm in really good shape here. Now I have an 80% chance of an angel ring. Will I get it? I sure hope so. I should. That's the thing about luck, though. You can have a 99% chance to get a devil room and still miss it. The kidney stone's kind of wrecking me a little bit. Well, I guess that's not the right word to use since I didn't get hit. But either way, it's certainly hindering me. I think the kidney stone's good to take if you have a bunch of speed and low tier speed. As in, like, your tiers is maybe 10 or above. That way, when you shoot the kidney stone, you'll shoot a bunch of really fast tiers. But I already shoot fast, so it's just kind of a hindrance for me at the moment. See how the creep's slowing him as he charges me? So it's a little underrated sometimes. And one thing I really hate about the womb is everything's red. This means if there's some creep on the floor that damages me and it's flashing red, sometimes I can't even see it. I don't even know if creep's what hit me there, but either way, I have no clue what damaged me at that point. Okay, let's see what we get. Can you guys stop making it so easy on me? My goodness. So this is one of the best items in the game. The Godhead. It gives you homing tears as well, which doesn't matter, I already have it with the Sacred Heart. That's what I'm taking, gives me a bunch of damage. And it gives me pretty much different stat effects. Well, one stat effect. You see how there's a big aura around my tears? The entire aura will deal damage as enemies pass through it. So, good game. There we go, got my second key piece. Now I can take devil deals and not worry about it. Normally there wouldn't be any more, but I have the Joker card. This is the part where I kind of wish I had the Emperor card, and I could use it with the blank card. At one point I did drop it, but either way. Now I've reached the point where it's just like, get me to the boss. I'm the all-powerful guy right now. By the way, to get the Godhead, I believe you have to complete every hard completion mark with every character. That also includes the Lost. But if you want to unlock everything in this game, you need it. Normally a room like this would be really hard because they're bouncing around everywhere in all directions, but thanks to Godhead and my crazy items, it pretty much trivializes the fight. Yeah, so Mega Satan's going to have a really bad time, especially, ironically, one of the strongest items I have for the Mega Satan fight is the Farting Baby, because I can just put myself right here, he'll take most of the shots from Mega Satan. But I will have to move if he is going to shoot a brimstone in my face. This is the Lost Cork. It makes your creep spread larger. As you can see from the juicy sack there, it's a lot larger now. And if I drop it, you'll see that it drops in size. The next time I use the Void, it'll use the smelter that I consumed earlier, and it'll be part of me. Now what I should have done there is I should have had my kidney stone charged up and ready to go. That way I could have immediately launched the attack. Okay, so I have the Polaroid. You can see it right there. I'll just point to it with my finger. So I know that the path I need to take is to the cathedral. And let's see what we got. Don't mind if I do. Flight and Spectral Tears. This just keeps getting better. By the way, you may be wondering what happens when you have the key and you've attacked the angel. I'll show you. The answer is pretty much nothing. It'll still clear out the room and give you whatever rewards at the end of the room is, but don't expect another key piece. Hey you. Yeah, welcome to easy mode. But the Binding of Isaac giveth, and the Binding of Isaac taketh away. Sometimes you'll be absolutely stomping face. Other times you might be struggling the entire time. You never know what's coming your way, and that's part of the reason why I ensure my victory by taking extra time to run around the map and exploiting everything as much as it's worth. Obviously, the scenario I'm in now, I already know I'm pretty much there. I'm pretty much going to win. But if you're not super overpowered, then I would definitely recommend taking the time. Alright, so it's time to fight Isaac. Right, I need to put the Farting Baby in front of me and use that as a shield. And when this happens, do not follow the laser beams, or the light beams rather. Go to the corner, but make sure it's in a corner where the light beams are not heading towards. So let's say the light beams are coming from the upper right and going down here. If you wait here, you might not get hit, but sometimes the light beam could. So it's kind of risky. So you want to make sure if it's coming down here that you go to this corner or you go to this corner. Okay, let's... Well, what I want to do is I want to use the Hierophant.
The Hierophant.
And then, oh, I almost ran into the spikes, but it's irrelevant because I have flight. Now I intend on using the Joker card when I reach the chest. Now, I'm not ready to consume it yet. Rather, I don't want to just use the Joker card without using the blank card, because after Mega Satan, there's a 50% chance the portal to Delirium will open. So I want to save my Joker card for the Void, which is a level. Before I do that, though, so I don't like any of these items. They're good early game items, really, but besides that, not a fan. So we're going to do a little science project here. We're going to use the Void to teleport to with the Joker. We're going to see if all 4 items get consumed. I'm pretty sure they will, but we'll know for sure now. Yes, they got consumed. And while I'm at it, I will take the Mark, which increases my speed and damage. No more Angel Rooms, but I got the key, so it's irrelevant. The reason why that dropped pills instead of cards, or vice versa rather, I took the starter deck at the beginning of the game, and that allows me to change all pills into cards. Okay, so now I am going to press onward. Hello, Mega Satan. You picked the wrong day to be Mega Satan. So whenever he becomes invincible, when you've damaged him enough, enemies are going to spawn to the south, so make sure you're not standing there. And when you see these two guys, the next phase, in my opinion, is the hardest. Next phase of enemies, rather. Make sure when you kill the last one that you're standing to the north. That way when they spawn at the bottom, you don't get hit. And when they do spawn, give it all you got. If you got some bombs, drop them. Won't matter for me because of my crazy assortment of items, but that's just something to take into account when you fight Mega Satan. Alright, phase 2. Position yourself with the farting baby. And win. Didn't even reach it. Alright, so no Delirium today. It's a 50% chance, and it just didn't happen this time. So thanks for watching the 15th episode of the Teaching of Isaac. Please hit the like button if you learned something new. And if you want to keep up to date on my episodes, the subscribe button is calling your name. Thanks for watching.